Thanks for checking out this horror debate series video. So in this one, we're going to be covering the most shocking ending in a horror film. And if you're new to this, just know you can watch my video, then you can go to your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete's channel, which is linked in my description, and watch his video of the same name. Then you can come back to my channel if you want, go to my community tab and vote on who you think had the best argument or the best pick or however you want to do it. And there's also an option for a tie because a lot of people wanted that. But anyway, let me get into what I consider to be the most shocking ending to a horror movie. And that's going to have to be Seven. Now, I know some people will immediately be saying, but Carlin, that's a thriller. That's a crime drama thriller. I understand what you're saying. It is horror to me, just like Silence of the Lambs is horror to me. There's a lot of horrific stuff in this film. Every single scene of what the character John Doe has done in this film, the serial killer, is horrific. And there's a lot of shocking stuff in this film, but the end is obviously the most shocking, and it's notorious. Everyone knows the ending of this film at this point. What's in the box? What's in the box, you know? And yes, this is the old Blu-ray version, which honestly, for the time of Blu-rays, this is actually a really nice version. And, you know, it has the whole John Doe's notebook that had all his stuff in there. Pretty cool, by the way. Anyway, it's not about showing that physical media off. It's about talking about this one. So, let's dive into it. So, obviously, just to recap for some people, though, this is probably, the final scene is probably emblazoned in a lot of people's minds. It's the part where they're out in the middle of nowhere with John Doe. That's Somerset and Mills, played by Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. And all of a sudden, a van comes up and delivers a box. And Morgan Freeman's character, Somerset, goes and finds out what is in the box, and he is shocked. Meanwhile, Mills is over with the prisoner, John Doe, and they're talking. And John Doe is feeding him some information to get him to kind of guess what's going on, what is actually in the box. And he's flipping out because the reaction from Somerset is so strong, but they're not telling the audience at that point that you know something's up. So they do a great job of kind of setting up this moment of kind of anxiety of like, you want to know what's going on. You want to know what the big deal is. And you're experiencing what Mills is experiencing, not what Somerset's experiencing, because he already knows what's in that box. And he knows this is going to be a gigantic issue for Mills. So the package, in the beginning, the package actually being delivered out in the middle of nowhere is extremely perplexing, very intriguing. It's something that no one sees coming. And they're just kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? You know, at this point, people feel like the film is kind of close to being over and not expecting this big twist with things. There's no way that people see the contents of the box coming, which is also the case for Somerset and Mills. Obviously, the reaction by Morgan Freeman as Somerset is a very strong one. He's going through so many things in his mind, and his acting really portrays that extremely well. Then you have the acting of Brad Pitt as Mills, who is also going through a lot in his head, just trying to figure out what is this, and obviously panicking because Somerset won't communicate to him. And because Somerset won't communicate what it is to him, he knows it's a problem. He knows it's something that he would react to in a bad way, most likely. So he's getting even more anxious. He's going even more over the top with his emotions. So one of the big things is Brad Pitt really does an excellent job of selling this moment, freaking out, having so much anxiety about what's going on. And especially when he finally does find out, him going between being like sickened and being upset, like he has these emotion shifts that you can see so well in that moment, where he's going between like being stern and like pissed off and angry, but then he's emotional and he's vulnerable and he's upset and he's partially crying. He's just a mess, and it's a great portrayal of that shocking moment of him getting this very shocking news. The calm and cold line delivery of Kevin Spacey as John Doe makes everything more creepy. It's one thing if John Doe is just telling him or just goading him along and just giving him these little tidbits of information that are kind of leading him to the answer of what's in the box. but it's how coldly and kind of matter of fact and whatever he kind of puts them, and also just how calm he is about it. This is all a part of his plan, and everything is going in his mind as he wants it to go. And in the end, that is what ends up happening, is he gets it to go exactly the way he wanted it to. The whole movie is John Doe doing exactly what he wanted, being, for the most part, unimpeded by the police, because it was his intention to be caught in the end. It was his intention to have Mills kill him, because he's the final sin. He is the seventh sin. He is envy. And he explains that when he's very calmly and coldly and creepily explaining the whole situation to him. But how slowly he also gives out the information that Mills is getting for the first time and trying to piece things together, but also the audience at the same time is trying to piece together. So you can feel that anxiety. You can feel that on the edge of your seat kinship with Mills, basically. The additional twist of Tracy being pregnant throws in an additional shock. First of all, it's extremely shocking that John Doe has somehow gotten close to Tracy, Mills' wife, murdered her, decapitated her, and put her head in a box to be delivered to that location. But on top of that, Mills has no idea that she was pregnant. Now, Somerset obviously did know, because he indicates that, but he didn't know. So just think about this situation from the perspective of Mills. And you kind of get that feeling when you're watching it as the audience, because, like I said, Somerset knows everything, Mills knows nothing, and it's more from the perspective of Mills than it is from Somerset. He keeps a lot from the audience and from Mills. So literally just think about finding out that your loved one has been murdered, that your spouse has been murdered, and their head is in a box. Like, that's even worse. First of all, they've been murdered. Horrible enough. Second of all, their decapitated head is in a box that's near you. Even worse. Then they drop on top of that the fact that she was pregnant and you had no clue. So that moment, you're trying to process the fact that they were pregnant in the first place, and then the fact that they're dead, and then on top of the fact that your spouse is dead, your almost child was dead. Wild. It is such a shocking moment in the film, and it's like an explosion to end the film. It's one of those things that really resonates with you. It is severely shocking, and that's why I chose it. The realization in this that John has, that John was part of his own master plan, is also a shocking, wild revelation in this as well. And it's made worse when Mills gives him the help that he wanted to complete his plan. So there's just so many twists and turns and shocks that happen in this small amount of time. I think this end portion that I'm talking about is only like around 4 minutes, definitely less than 5 minutes. And it packs so much punch in it. It packs so many shocking moments and so many twists to it that it just has so much impact. And people's jaws end up on the floor when they see this. So that's why I'm going ahead and choosing 7 as my pick for the most shocking ending to a horror movie. And again, I know some people will be like, oh, well, it's thriller. It's horror. It's definitely horror. This is one of those things where people, I believe the whole thriller thing, like crime thriller, was created just for people who don't want to think that they like horror, so they can categorize it differently. It is horror, just like Silence of the Lambs. We're claiming it as the horror community. But anyway, that's my pick. Like I said, check out your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete's video, or if you have already, you can vote on the community tab for who you want to be the winner of this. There's nothing on the line, though. It's just for fun. But do us a quick favor. For my channel and for his channel, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate that. It means a lot to us. Comment on these videos, because we always love to hear your picks. What would you say is the most shocking ending to a horror film? Really interested to find that one out. You can hit the notification bell button on both our videos, on both our channels, to know when we're putting up new videos. And you can also do thumbs up on these videos or any of our videos to help us with the algorithm traction on YouTube. So we do appreciate all that stuff, but we just mainly appreciate people watching the videos most, subscribing, and participating. You know, when you're commenting, we're really wanting to know what your picks would be, because it's fun. That's what this is all about. So I'm out making money, obviously. It's about fun. But anyway, thank you everyone for checking this stuff out, and until next time, keep it brutal.